I'm Sam Scrollo and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now in this video I'm bringing you another super important cryptocurrency update. So if you're a trader and you're trading actively or you're an investor, you really want to watch this video till the end, and please consider hitting that subscribe button and also that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I make a new upload, because these are super important to be watched immediately and from beginning till the end. And as always, please hit that like button and do comment down below, so that you, my community, you guys and girls have the power of pushing these videos out into the world so that we get more traction and we get more views and more likes, etc., which is very important, and it would be very nice of you to support this channel in this way. Thank you in advance. All right, so in this video I really want to talk to you about S&P 500 and the current correlation that we're seeing, which actually could be translated into a weakness for Bitcoin. And it's not just my opinion, but it's something that we've been seeing for quite some time, and right now it's quite worrying. So first we're going to take a look at S&P 500, then we're going to take a look at one of the biggest whales and the current behavior of that biggest whale, because I think it's a huge indication of what's going on in general. Then also we're going to take a look at a short-term perspective and the trades that were possible and are going to be possible with all the price targets, etc., as always. So Mr. Spot On is on duty today. So, and also it's very important to mention that the actual funding rates currently, just briefly, funding rates currently are going into negatives very much, and this is actually quite a good thing, because historically when we are looking at funding rates for Bitcoin and just in general, then this is the time when the accumulation is happening, and this could be indication of a relative zone of a bottom for the price when the funding rates actually starting to go into negatives. Just as a side note before we dive into everything. So that's actually on a positive note for the time being. But in a short-term perspective, everything is looking quite shady. So that's why this video is so important, that you stay tuned and you stay very careful in the current market. So let's jump right into the price action right here. Let's take a look at S&P 500. As you might remember, we had this super important level right here, which we've broken. We've moved above, which actually helped Bitcoin just a tiny bit right here. And now we actually have broken above this level, which I mentioned in the previous videos, at 45.30, which is a very good sign for S&P 500. But again, for Bitcoin, I mean, it did help out a little bit right here, but there really wasn't that very much effect. So if you compare this growth in S&P to this growth in Bitcoin, it's not really that very nice. So it's not something that we would want to see. And right now, what in my opinion could happen, or what you have to watch out for, is if we're gonna end up getting rejected from 45.30 right here, which again has been a very important level with a bunch of confirmations in these areas right here. Then if we're gonna get rejected and if we're gonna move below, our target for S&P is going to be once again this level at 44.20. And again, as we've seen before, whenever S&P 500 is climbing, Bitcoin is just doing some slow stuff. But whenever S&P 500 is dropping like a rock, that's when Bitcoin is dropping even more. So this could have this kind of an effect. So this is something to watch out for. So watch S&P 500 and see what happens. And this is just something that I'd be personally looking out for. Now, very important to take a look at, and before we get into the price action of Bitcoin, let's take a look at what's going on with, that's not it. Let me find it. There it is. So here is one of the biggest, one of the biggest whales, Bitcoin whales, who is holding at this point 127,000 Bitcoin. And as the price is going down, and as all the retailers are getting scared and are selling off their Bitcoin at a loss sometimes and mostly, then that's when big whales are accumulating. So if you take a look, when was the last time this whale actually sold something on Bitcoin? Right here, 1,500 Bitcoin was sold in 2021, so last year. So this is something that, I mean, this is a very good example of what's going on. And he or she sold one in actually November, and since then each single day except for this -1 Bitcoin, this whale has been accumulating on a daily basis. Okay, it's not big, I mean, 12 million, 13 million dollars, 8 million dollars, 9 million dollars, 22 million dollars, but nonetheless every single day, and as you can see in the chart right here, the accumulation keeps happening and is just going upward. And this is a very interesting sign in my personal opinion. Okay, so let's go quickly to the price action. Let's take a look at the technicals, and this is what you really have to watch out for and you really have to be careful about at this current time. So if you watched my previous video, then one of the scenarios actually played out, and if you've taken that trade, which I'm going to show you shortly, then congratulations on your incredible profits. Spot on. Okay, so currently we had this incredibly strong support, which in my personal opinion I actually thought that it would hold. So I'm going to show you another trade that was possible that would have been either a zero trade or a slight minus trade. And we've broken below it right here. So this huge red candle in the 4-hour chart actually closed below, and this current situation right now, I think we will be continuing to go down. We'll see what happens in this open space right here, but I think that the most likely scenario, again, it's always it's all about probabilities, so it's a very likely scenario that our current target is going to be at around this support of this falling wedge from the daily chart, which has been important, still stays very relevant. So our current target technically would be around $36,000, and if we do this regular calculation of what everybody likes to do, which is not really that precise and reliable, but nonetheless, the technical target of this whole flag that we see right here and the break below is actually the target of 34,500. And again, if you've traded one of the trades that I'm going to show you right now, which has been a textbook trade, then your target, as I mentioned previously, could have been either at this area or this area. So this is a very nice target for your short trade if you've traded a very interesting short trade. So, and then obviously this is not a very good sign, because a lot of people have been expecting this kind of squeeze and going upward, something that we haven't seen. So we got smacked again, and this is something that you really have to pay attention to if you're going to be considering any kind of a big long trade. As you might remember, as I mentioned before many times, my big long trade, I would consider a big long trade if we would actually break out of this falling wedge in the daily chart and actually close above it with some volume. This could be a very interesting opportunity for a big trade, and especially if we would go and close above 40,500, and this was our very important area right here. This could give us a very good indication that the price is really turning into a mid-term perspective or a long-term perspective. So let's take a look at a smaller time frame. Let me show you exactly the trades that could have been taken, and all these levels are still there since the previous video. And if you haven't seen the previous video, please check it out. And if you want to be trading actively, and if you're a trader, then look no further than Bybit. And down in the description of this video, you'll find a link, my personalized exclusive link to Bybit, which you can use to open an account, deposit money into it, and get up to $4,100 in real money, which you can use for your own trading, which is simply incredible. And for a short time right now, Bybit, with my link, they're also offering up to 30% discount on commissions, which can save you thousands of dollars, which is amazing. So use my link down in the description. So what are we seeing in a super short-term perspective? Again, this is a very, we are zooming in right now into the technicals, which is a 15-minute chart. And as you can see here, we had a very strong resistance at about $38,340, and we also had this resistance, which is the resistance of the falling wedge from the daily chart, and we got squeezed in it. And I mean, this is just incredible. So if you believe in if you were short biased, you could have taken any one of these false breaks right here off of this resistance or this last one into and could have opened a short trade. And as I mentioned in the previous video, the best place, other best place, which again, if you don't believe me that I've mentioned this, please go to the previous video and check it out. So the other really cool entry could have been the break of this level right here. Let me make it slightly bigger. Let me move it to the right like this. And this could have been a very, let me just draw it once again so that no confusion is caused. So when we had this incredible squeezing, again, we have the opportunity of breaking above or breaking below. So when we've been breaking below right here with, let's take a look at the volume. And right here, incredible volume. This is beautiful. So when we were trying to have some kind of a false break right here, there was no volume. So no reason to think of anything. But when we see this break going below and we see this spike in volume, this is an incredible opportunity with an entry at this point right here. And if you actually took this trade, please do let me know, and I'm always happy to see profits of my subscribers and followers. And this would have been just a magnificent entry into this short trade. However, as I mentioned in the previous video as well, we could face incredible support from this support line right here, which we actually did have some kind of a support. So there has been a false break, the one that I mentioned in the previous video, saying that this could be an interesting opportunity to get into this whole flag formation with the hopes that it actually is going to bounce off of and squeeze and then break out later on. So this is something that if you've taken it with a very short stop loss, and as it moved into your profit, because again, look, we actually tested it here, then also here, and then again here. So it was looking quite okay-ish. So if you've taken it, that's absolutely fine. And if you've, after this move in your favor, if you've moved your stop loss a bit closer and got stopped out later on, no worries about it. So if you've entered into this short trade right here, and as I just mentioned, and actually exited at this place right here, just to keep it on a safe side, simply because we could have been we could have reversed here really fast with a lot of volume as well, with a lot of volatility, because again, we were actually getting squeezed really strongly in this wedge right here, well, in this flag formation, especially visible in the 4-hour chart. So we could have seen some volatility in this area easily. So just to keep it on a safe side, if you would have actually left this short trade in this vicinity, nobody would have blamed you. So that's absolutely fine. However, if you kept this trade until this very moment and you're still in it and you actually survived this bounce off of it, then I mean, you must have an incredible profit on your side right now, and it's just more than a perfect time to pull it into some kind of this area perhaps, or even this area, so that if we quickly go above here, so you wouldn't be risking this price action in this vicinity. I really wanted to take these trades personally, but I did not get a chance because I was taking my mother out for shopping. What can you do about it? I mean, cannot be sitting at the trading desk 24/7. So if you've taken either of these trades, good job, very great choices. So as of right now, as I've mentioned, our target is currently at this area right here, but remember that we've broken below this support, and the chances of us actually going really fast above, again, anything can happen at any given moment. So whenever you're trading actively, please use proper risk and money management, and don't go into that hope stage that it's going to reverse at some point. It's just stupendous. So always use proper risk and money management. So at this point, if you're in the short trade, then our just logical target would be around 35, so about $36,000 would be the best, because I think that we're going to still bounce, even if we're going to be going lower to retest, let's say $33,000, which is very likely. I don't think that we're gonna just go straight through it. So we're still gonna have some kind of a reaction here, which could be quite dangerous. So if you really want to keep it. But this is something that I would be expecting at 36,000 right now. And just in general, if we're gonna take a look at a bigger picture, then certainly us actually going and breaking this flag right here is quite a worrying sign, quite honestly. And if we're going to be looking at the whale activity, we're seeing a very big spike again going up in the whale activity. And then remember that whenever we see this kind of an increase in whale activity, oftentimes we see a sell-off just because of the whales manipulating the market in the hopes to trick retailers to actually selling Bitcoin at a cheaper price. So this is something to watch out for. So Bitcoin is really shaky at this time, and be very careful with long trades, especially since we've broken below this key support that had been very important for the last few days, and let's see what happens afterwards. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please do like the video, please comment down below, and as always, stay smart, stay rich. Thomas Koralo, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheerio!